Hey there, legal nurse rock stars. It's Janice Dolnick with illegalnursesrock.com, and I am so excited to be coming to you live on this gorgeous Tuesday in October. So, you guys, I wanted to take some time and talk a bit about the importance of investing in you personally, professionally, and in your own LNC business. So recently, just a few days ago, in fact, somebody had made a post, not in my group, but in another group, that basically said there were a bunch of wannabe legal nurse consultants and that they were ruining what was going on for the more experienced LNCs, and it was written in not a very nice way. But, I wanted to take that post and I wanted to break it apart a bit, because though it could have been written in a much better way, there is some truth to what I think this person was trying to say. And so I want to actually share with you some things that I've seen in my own practice. And remember that as experienced legal nurse consultants, it's our job to help other LNCs, find their way around a profession that honestly is kind of just made up, right? Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. There's a few courses and certifications and stuff like that you can get out there. But really, once you're out in the trenches, you're pretty much on your own. So it's really important that as experienced LNCs, we're offering, we're giving grace to the newbies. But also in that, you guys, it's very important for the newbies, and I hate that she called them wannabe LNCs. It was such a bully term. But our newbies need to understand the value in investing in themselves and in their education. So there are a lot of options to becoming a legal nurse consultant, and certification is most certainly not required. But I always tell everybody, you wouldn't open up a shop selling donuts and have no idea and no recipe on how to make the world's best donuts, right? You have to have done some research. You've had to have invested in yourself. I mean, if you've already landed your first attorney client, you have no idea what a chronology is. The post, she mentioned this in the post, and she's 100% right. It is concerning if you've already gone out and marketed and you don't know the basic foundation, that LNC 101 of how to work as a legal nurse consultant. So I just want, in a loving way, to share with our newbies and those that are really desiring to build a business that you guys, you're gonna have to invest in your business and in yourself. And that means spending money. And I think a lot of nurses think they can come into the LNC world and not invest any money into their education, and you're going to have to. Now, resources are different, finances are different for people, and some people can't pay the platinum of all platinum LNC programs for $20,000. That's just not an option. And some people might not be able to pay the $2,500 option. But you guys, when something's that important to you, you find a way to make it happen, right? Like I worked a bunch of extra shifts. I paid off my loan. It took me 6 years to pay off my LNC loan. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that for everybody. And I don't know that I would recommend it for myself again. But, I knew the value and the importance of investing in myself and in my education. Lucky for our newbies, there are so many options to learning about building an LNC business and about becoming a legal nurse consultant. Back when I did it 11 years ago, there were really only two options and only one option I was actually able to find any information on. But now there's a lot of independent coaches out there, people that are actually having success. We offer coaching now. We've actually are launching a 2-day virtual conference, November 5th and 6th, which is like an LNC 101 program that will help our newbies get going, get a better understanding of the whole legal side of legal nursing, help them learn to tear apart cases and look at reports and all that good stuff. It's that foundation that so many new LNCs need that nurses are skipping for some reason. And it's, it's important that you invest in yourself. And it depends on a few factors. When you're choosing, people always come to me and they say, Janice, what's the best program? I don't know. I don't know what the best program for you is. It's a matter of how you learn and really who you're attracted to, right? I would say that a majority of nurses are hands-on learners. So if you can find a program that's going to allow you to open up a case, get your hands dirty, try to create a chronology, try to create a report, and allows you feedback so you get better ideas on what you did, on what you're doing, what you could do better, what you did right, and gives you report writing tips from an attorney's perspective, because I see a lot of nurses, and this is the funniest part, when I review cases or reports from nurses, they typically come across like we only had a box and we could only fill it with like 100 characters. They don't actually read very smoothly. And I think it's because we're so used to charting in these short little boxes. I mean, the hospital systems and the new, way we do documentation is so different now. So it can be, it's quite funny to read the legal nurses' work sometimes and say, okay, it's okay to write full sentences. You don't use these terms, or, so we'll give those tips that attorneys look for when they're looking at your report when it comes across their desk and they're seeing it for the first time, and they're not actually reading it. So what does that look like? It needs to be a beautiful, clean-cut report, and that's how attorneys document, right? So that's something we teach inside of our program, but that's a hands-on learning type experience. If you can read from a book and you can grasp information that way without ever practicing, then perhaps purchasing, a book from AALNC, the study guide, is your way to go. So it really is just dependent on how you learn, who you're most attracted to, who you appreciate, the way that they teach. And we're all different. There's a ton of LNC coaches out there. We all have very different ways in doing things. I'm more raw, more real, more, I shoot from the hip. And, there are other that, and I'll do it in like a t-shirt. And there's others that will train you in a business suit. So we're all just very different, and we're all in very different stages of our lives. I have 2 little kids. I'm still trying to, work my business around my life. And there's others that, are in a later stage of their life and are able to really sit down and do things nice and create nice PowerPoints. So it's all dependent on how you learn and who you're most attracted to. And then from there, then you've got to invest in that education and in learning how to do things right so that you go out there and you create wonderful work product. I have had 2 attorneys come back to me and say, hey, I've already used an LNC before and her work product was awful. I won't ever use one again. So though the way this person posted this post a few days ago about, which wasn't very nice, and that wannabe LNCs were stealing her work, I don't know about stealing work, but if we come upon an attorney who's used an LNC who's given, really bad work product, we then have to go in and try to resell ourselves. So it's really important that we are all on the same page. We're all investing in our education. We're all helping each other learn. And, we're nice to our newbies and we give them grace. And our newbies are also grateful, when they're getting that one-on-one coaching and that help and those tips from us, and they're taking them and they're implementing them in their business. So it's a two-way street. Anyway, you guys, I just wanted to come to you and just tell you to keep doing what you're doing. Newbie, old bee, wherever you are in your business, just keep rocking it. Put your blinders up Don't let anybody knock you down. You got this. I'll see you all on the inside.